Hello and welcome to Quays TV News. I'm Jess Foley. Firefighters were called to the Trafford Centre this morning due to an electrical fire in a storeroom. Emergency services were quick to respond and the centre opened at 10 a.m. as usual. There were no reports of any injuries. Journeys in Manchester now take 40% longer than they did 20 years ago. Stagecoach Manchester are going to spend £6 million this year to avoid congestion on some key routes. More buses and staff will be put in on to cope with traffic growth on busy roads. Around 30 hospital beds in the northwest are now closed due to an outbreak of suspected norovirus. People who have had the bug are advised not to visit their relatives in hospitals or care homes until they have been free of symptoms for 48 hours. How moral is Greater Manchester? A recent survey conducted by Greater Manchester Police reveals that 1 in 20 people would buy stolen goods. Over 100 Manchester residents admit that they would make a deal if the price was too good to be true. Most of the people who took part in the poll think the low wages and the cost of living are the main reasons for this. Tram services are now back to normal after the delays in the last few days. Metrolink launched a new live Twitter feed to give people service updates every day. They even apologised to a passenger for delays with a tweet. The step was taken after a flood of criticism from passengers over lack of information. We are happy to announce that Salford University are now the new media partners for a new global project in environmental sustainability. Joining us is Mark Edwards, the organiser of Hard Rain, to tell us a bit more about the subject. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mark. And first of all, for those people who don't know about the project, can you tell us a bit about Hard Rain and what it aims to do?
OK, well, it's an exhibition project. It's an outdoor exhibition. It's Bob Dylan's words and mostly pictures by me, but I've used pictures that friends of mine have taken. And what Hard Rain does is to show how global problems are linked by cause and effect. And it shows that we need to tackle them together. And the new project, which Salford University is teaming up on, it is showing what those solutions look like. And that's going to launch at 100 universities, all at the same time. And what Salford University is going to do is link them together.
I see. So how important are projects like this for the environment in general?
Well, no single project is going to solve all these very serious problems that have been building up over many years. I mean, my generation has comprehensively trashed the prospects for all young people alive today. What we're trying to do in this new exhibition is to show that we've got solutions. There's no technical or physical impediment to creating a sustainable civilization. The key thing is that what's lacking is the political will. And we're hoping that students around the world will join forces and show real support to governments to implement these very difficult solutions. But, you know, at least we have the solutions.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, Mark. But thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to find out more details, head on to quaysnews.net. And now for entertainment, it's Sophie Whitfield.
Thanks, Jess. Katy Perry is trending on Twitter this morning as tickets for her upcoming tour have been put on sale. The singer will be performing at the Phones For You Arena in Manchester, which it seems you're all very excited about. Kieran Thomas tweeted, "Got tickets for Katy Perry in Manchester standing, can't wait to breathe the same air," as well as Ellis Noble, who wrote, "Oh my God, Katy Perry, got Manchester tickets, see you there. Won't mind going to see that myself." So, thousands of hopefuls have gathered in Manchester this week to audition for a role that could be out of this world, quite literally. Star Wars are looking for 2 cast members for their next movie, Star Wars Episode 7, and people from all over the country came to audition. Will Carlisle has more.
An estimated 5,000 young adults from galaxies far, far away have descended upon Trafford Manchester Cricket Club in the hopes of being cast in J.J. Abrams' Star Wars Episode 7.
It wasn't very long. The amount of people that they have here, it's just like they can't see you for more than maybe 2 minutes, if that. It was more singles like they sort of sent you through one by one, sort of saw you, asked a few brief questions, and then you just got sent through, and then a few people, I'm not entirely sure how they selected you. It was like they just either picked you out of the queue,
You did have to fill in a form with like your number and stuff like that, so we don't know what comes of that.
Since Star Wars hit our screen in 1977, it has brought joy to countless people, and a new generation of fans are hoping to reclaim some of that magic.
Yeah, big Star Wars fan. I grew up on the obviously the prequels that were made after because they were more my time, but obviously I loved the originals as well. I want a main part, but if an extra's the only thing I'm going to get, it's the only thing I'm going to get. I mean, anything to get my face out there.
William Carlisle, Quays TV News.
A lot of people in the community will be lost without volunteers. This week, Salford had an awards ceremony to celebrate those who dedicate so much of their time and effort to the community. Our reporter Siobhan Maguire brings us the details.
Now in its 10th year, the Heart of Salford Awards celebrate volunteering in the community.
We're the Salford Volunteer Centre. We feel that we're duty bound really to acknowledge publicly the commitment and achievements of volunteers in Salford.
13-year-old Connor Goodwin won Young Volunteer of the Year for his work at Treetops Counselling in Salford.
It's being able to do anything and being able to help people, and there's no limit to what you can do.
The voluntary sector in Salford has 37,000 volunteers, and they give 137 hours of their time each week.
To come here and see the actual people who's doing the volunteering and what they've done, and really worthwhile coming.
The event was hosted by Paul Barber of Salford City Radio. They co-won Organisation of the Year with news site Salford Online.
The organisations that you've seen today, this would just be an empty room without volunteers in the first instance. And they set up so many great causes that just couldn't function without the expertise and the hours that volunteers put in.
The awards cater for individuals of all ages, and absolutely anyone can volunteer in their community.
There's so many different ways you can contribute in society. I think the key thrust is just being able to give up a little bit of your time to help other organisations.
A list of winners can be found at quaysnews.net. This is Siobhan Maguire, Quays TV News.
One of the winners from the event was the online news website Salford Online, who took home the Organisation of the Year award for 2013. And now joining me in the studio is Teresa McMahon, who was nominated for the prize. So you won, Teresa. So what is it that Salford Online do?
Salford Online are a community website that basically they just do news, theatre, things that are going on in Salford in the local community, and it was actually me who nominated them for the award because of all the support they gave me with my volunteering. They were really supportive, they really encouraged me, they helped me get my writing out there.
Great, so what kind of stories have you covered so far?
I've interviewed a couple of people, like playwright Joe O'Byrne and actress Stella Grundy. But mostly I did reviews for them, so I've got to see loads of really good shows at the Lowry and like all VIP, so you know, it's great. It was a great experience.
That's great. So how did you hear about it initially? What made you?
I emailed the editor, Tom Rogers, and just asked him if he had any work experience in the office, and the next thing you know, there was a competition, so I thought, right, well, I'll enter that.
Opportunity.
Yeah, and I won the competition, so
fantastic.
Ever since then he's just carried on giving me work.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, multi-award winning Warhorse has come to the Lowry Theatre this week, bringing lots of excitement and tears to Greater Manchester. The production, which began here on Wednesday, has been described as an unforgettable experience, and Tonya Hunter has more.
One of the most powerful shows to ever grace the West End stage is making its debut here in Salford. Warhorse was written by Michael Morpurgo and set in World War I. It tells the tale of a young boy and his horse as they are separated at the beginning of the story. The opening night brings people from all over the country who have wanted to see the spectacle be performed.
Well, I know that it was originally a stage play, and that's what interested me, was the staging of it. Having watched the film, and in some ways it's much easier to come over on film because you can use real life horse. So I'm interested in the puppetry around how they depict everything, and the war scenes. It'll be interesting how they depict all that.
Are you looking forward to going to see the show tonight?
I'm looking forward to it very much. I've been looking forward to it for weeks.
Well, I like to see sort of new use of old materials, which puppeteer, but putting it in the normal sort of theatrical setting. Yes, it can be interesting.
Very interesting. It's an amazing way of doing things, and it's very entertaining theatre.
The
The Times named the production of Warhorse as a landmark theatre event, and now that production is here at the Lowry Theatre. The excitement and anticipation for the show has been building for months. The Lowry described it as the biggest opening night they've ever had. The show's here until the 18th of January, but because it proved popular, it's back in summer for another run.
That's all from me in entertainment. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you, Sophie. Now in sports, after England's great start to the Ashes, day 2 was a huge disappointment, with their first innings being all bowled out for 138 runs. Former England and Lancashire cricketer Freddie Flintoff expressed his frustration on Twitter, saying, "I've had enough now. Getting to sleep is proving more challenging than playing these Aussies." In football, Michael Carrick has signed a 1-year extension for Manchester United, who travel to Cardiff on Sunday, while rivals Manchester City take on potential title contenders Spurs at the Etihad. And finally, people in Salford have been encouraged to take part in Chill Swim, the first event of its kind in this region. Craig Carroll has more.
This event is part of Visit Salford's Winter in Salford campaign, and it is looking to attract swimmers of all different ages and abilities to compete in endurance races for charity, fitness or fun.
Well, we'd really like to see the Big Chill Swim Salford grow. This is its first year on the 7th of December, and we're really hoping for about 200 to 250 participants. And obviously, with it being in winter, daylight hours are limited. So we'd like to operate a bigger event next year, but it just depends on the success of this year. But I really think it's going to be a busy weekend. It is the same weekend as the Victorian Christmas Market, so there should be a lot of passers-by and spectators that will be a little bit amazed by the event.
Event organiser Colin Hill joined 4 others as they swam laps in freezing cold temperatures to promote the Big Chill Swim.
Yeah, I think the sport of open water swimming is becoming really popular now because it's accessible. You know, there's lots of bodies of water around, and people used to be a swimmer when they're younger. They get back into swimming. Open water swimming is quite exciting. So they swim through the summer, and then they think, well, what else can I do? You know, it's winter now. And there's this new sport of cold water swimming which has come along, and yeah, people are really starting to enjoy that.
I got injured running a couple of years ago and couldn't do any exercise, and the only exercise was swimming. And someone said, if you can't swim distance, why don't you try temperature? Do a 60-metre swim in as cold as possible water, and that can be your sort of goal, rather than being able to swim any distance. Do 60 metres.
This is Craig Carroll for Quays TV News.
Now all this week, the university has been playing host to the Salford Media Festival and Next Generation. This allows students and new media professionals the opportunity to attend a series of masterclasses, panel discussions and practical workshops about a variety of subjects including animation, TV and radio. And as part of the Salford Media Festival, we caught up with Lucy West, Head of News at ITV Granada Reports.
It's really great to have a buzz of people here and coming here and having it actually at the university, and just those conversations that you have, not just the questions that you get asked in some of the panel sessions, but also the people.
Huge apologies for the technical difficulties there, and now the weather has been chilly this week, so let's find out if it will continue with Helen Rowe Wilcox.
I'm afraid it will, Jess. It's going to stay cold for the next few days, and we'll probably get a bit of frost as well. Okay, so for the rest of the weekend then we've got frost, cold weather and a bit of fog. It'll continue to be dry with plenty of sunshine, especially over the weekend. Maximum temperatures around 7 degrees, and it'll actually feel a lot warmer on the coast. So for tomorrow morning it'll start off heavy with fog, slowly lifting by lunchtime. And there's a strong dip in temperatures with highs of only 2 degrees across the region. Okay. For the rest of the week, there'll be overnight frost with more fog expected on Sunday and the possibility of an odd shower. On Monday it's going to remain cool and winds light, but it'll remain dry for Monday and Tuesday, possibly getting worse for the weekend. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you, Helen. And that's all from us this week. Don't forget to send us your stories to keysnews.net. And if you want to find out more details on all the stories we've been talking about today, you can follow us on Twitter @KeysNews. We'll be back at 1:30 p.m. next Friday on keysnews.net. Goodbye.